All right. So you send over this research article about R, this statistical software package.
Right.
And it's by Stephen Andrew Culpepper and Herman Guinness,
A Guinness.
like the beer.
Exactly.
And I have to admit, I was a little skeptical at first.
Yeah.
Another stats program.
Yeah.
But as I started reading, I realized this art thing could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Especially for someone like you who's always pushing the boundaries with data analysis.
Well, what really intrigued me was how this article
Yeah.
went beyond just listing the features of R.
Right.
It really dove into, like, the why.
Yeah.
Like R's open source nature.
Yeah.
It's fascinating because it's free, but also because it means
Right.
that you're not beholden to the update cycles of commercial software.
You're not waiting a year for the next version
Exactly.
to get the features you need.
Yeah,
You've got a whole community constantly developing and refining R,
that's right.
which means you have access to the most cutting-edge techniques,
Yes.
often as soon as they emerge.
Precisely. And that is a huge advantage when you're working in a field that's constantly evolving.
Absolutely.
The article mentions techniques like multi-level modeling and text mining.
Yeah.
And I think it's worth unpacking those a bit
Okay.
because they really highlight R's versatility.
Text mining is one of those buzzwords that I hear a lot,
Uh-huh.
but I'm not always sure what it actually entails.
Yeah,
I mean, I get that it's analyzing text data,
sure.
but what kind of insights can you actually get from that?
Well, imagine being able to analyze thousands of customer reviews
Okay.
to understand not just overall sentiment,
Right.
but to identify like specific themes and issues that are driving customer satisfaction, or being able to sift through years of academic articles to map the evolution of a particular field of research.
Wow.
That's the power of text mining.
Okay.
And R gives you the tools to do that.
So it's way more than just counting word frequencies.
Exactly.
It's like uncovering the hidden stories within massive amounts of text data. Wow.
And R isn't limited to text.
Right.
Think about multi-level modeling.
Yeah.
This allows you to analyze data that has a nested structure.
Okay.
So let's say you're studying student performance.
Yeah.
But you want to account for variations between classrooms and schools.
Okay.
R gives you the tools to model those complex relationships.
Okay, so it's not just about the breadth of analyses R can handle,
Yeah.
but the depth and sophistication it brings to those analyses.
Right.
And it's not just for hardcore statisticians, right? The
Right.
article mentioned that R is becoming increasingly popular in academia.
It's true. R is becoming a standard tool for teaching and learning statistics, partly because it's free for universities,
Yeah.
which removes a huge barrier to entry.
Right.
And I think there's also a growing recognition that R's coding aspect, while initially daunting for some,
Yeah.
actually encourages a deeper understanding of statistical concepts.
It's like the difference between being able to drive a car and understanding how the engine works.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
When you code in R, you're not just clicking buttons. You're actively engaging with the statistical processes.
And that can lead to more thoughtful and insightful analyses, right?
Absolutely. You're not just relying on prepackaged procedures.
Yeah.
You're tailoring your analysis to the specific nuances of your data.
Okay. I have to admit, I'm starting to see why you're so enthusiastic about R. But before we get too carried away,
Sure.
I want to dig into some of the potential downsides.
Okay.
The article did mention a few.
Right. It's important to have a balanced perspective.
Yeah.
One thing the authors highlighted is that R's learning curve can be steep,
Yeah.
especially for those coming from a point-and-click software background.
Yeah, that coding aspect can definitely be intimidating for beginners. I'm curious, though, is it just the initial hurdle of learning the syntax?
Yeah.
Or are there deeper complexities that might trip people up?
It's a bit of both, actually. Learning the syntax is the first step, but the real challenge is developing a coding mindset.
Okay.
It's about learning to break down complex analytical tasks into smaller logical steps that R can understand.
So it's not just learning a new language.
Right.
It's learning a new way of thinking about data analysis.
Exactly. And that can
Yeah.
be frustrating at times, especially when you're used to that instant gratification of point-and-click interfaces.
Yeah.
But the payoff is huge.
Right.
Once you master that coding mindset,
Yeah,
you have incredible flexibility and control over your analyses.
that makes sense. The article also mentioned missing data as a potential issue with R.
Yeah.
And I know that's a headache in any statistical analysis.
Right.
But is there something specific about how R handles it
Yeah.
that makes it particularly tricky?
R's default way of handling missing data can be a bit unforgiving.
Okay.
It tends to exclude any cases with missing values,
Oh,
which can lead to biased results. Right.
if those missing values are not random.
So you really need to be aware of the potential pitfalls
Exactly.
and take steps to address missing data properly.
Exactly. The good news is there are packages specifically designed
Oh, okay.
to help you manage missing data in R.
Okay.
You can use imputation techniques to fill in those gaps
Right.
in a thoughtful way.
Yeah.
Or you can use methods that are more robust to missing data.
So it's a challenge, but not insurmountable.
Right.
There are tools and techniques available to help you navigate those complexities.
That's right.
What about the documentation the article mentioned? It can be a bit overwhelming.
It's true. R has a wealth of documentation, which is fantastic,
Mm-hmm.
but it can also be a bit of a double-edged sword.
Right.
It's not always easy to find what you're looking for,
Okay.
and some of the documentation can be quite technical.
So where does someone even begin?
Yeah,
It sounds like you need a map and a compass.
that's where the R community really shines.
There are countless online forums, tutorials, and blogs dedicated to helping R users
Wow,
of all levels.
that's great.
And the community is incredibly supportive.
Uh-huh.
You can always find someone willing to answer your questions
Yeah.
or point you in the right direction.
It's like having a global network of R experts at your fingertips.
Exactly.
Cool.
And that's a valuable resource, especially when you're first starting out.
Okay, we've talked about the learning curve, missing data, and documentation.
Uh-huh.
Were there any other limitations the authors mentioned?
One final point they raised was the potential for memory issues
Okay.
when working with large data sets.
Right.
R stores data in your computer's RAM.
Yeah.
So if you're dealing with millions of observations,
Uh-huh.
you might run into performance problems.
So it's not the ideal tool for big data analysis.
It depends on your definition of big data.
Okay.
R can handle data sets with millions of observations.
Yep.
But if you're talking about billions or trillions of rows, then you might need to consider other solutions.
That's fair. I imagine most people using R for research or analysis
Right.
aren't dealing with data sets that massive anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even if you do encounter memory limitations, there are workarounds.
Okay.
You can use packages designed for out-of-memory computations,
Huh?
or you can explore cloud-based solutions that provide more computing power.
So like with the other challenges, there are ways to mitigate those limitations.
Precisely. R is incredibly flexible and adaptable.
Okay.
It's not a one-size-fits-all solution,
Yeah.
but it offers a powerful set of tools that can be customized to meet your specific needs.
We've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
We've talked about what R is, why it's exciting,
Mm-hmm.
and some of the challenges you might encounter along the way.
Right.
I want to bring it back to you, our listener,
Okay.
and see if we can make this a bit more personal.
I agree. It's all well and good to talk about the technical details,
Yeah.
but ultimately the value of R lies in how it can empower you to do things you couldn't do before.
So let's shift gears a bit and talk about how R might fit into your workflow,
Okay.
your research, or your personal data explorations.
Yeah.
Imagine for a moment that you had complete mastery of R.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of questions could you answer?
Right.
What kind of insights could you uncover?
Yeah.
What would you create?
I think that's a powerful question for our listener to ponder.
Yeah.
What doors would R open for you?
Yeah, it really feels like R could be this key to unlocking
Mm-hmm.
a whole new level of understanding in whatever field you're passionate about,
Yeah.
whether you're digging into complex research questions
Right.
or even just exploring data for fun.
Exactly.
R gives you the power to do it your way.
It's true. The beauty of R is that it's not just a tool for analysis.
Yeah.
It's a platform for exploration and discovery. You're
Mhm.
not limited to preset options or menus.
Right.
You can truly tailor your approach to your specific needs.
I'm thinking back to the article and how it highlighted those amazing visuals you can create with R.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just about dry tables and numbers.
Right.
It's about communicating insights
Yeah.
in a way that's engaging and impactful.
Absolutely. Data visualization is crucial, especially in today's world,
Right.
where we're just bombarded with information.
Right.
Being able to present your findings in a clear, compelling way
Uh-huh.
can make all the difference.
Yeah.
And R gives you the tools to create publication quality graphics that really bring your data to life.
I'm starting to get a little R envy myself.
Yeah.
Hearing you talk about all these possibilities is making me want to dive in and start exploring.
You should. It's a journey worth taking.
Okay.
And you'll be in good company, as we mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
The art community is incredibly welcoming and supportive,
Yeah.
especially for beginners.
That's good to know.
There are countless online resources and forums where you can connect with other R users, ask questions, and share your discoveries.
That's so reassuring, knowing that there's a whole community out there willing to help can make all the difference.
For sure.
When you're tackling something new and potentially challenging.
Exactly. You're never truly alone on your art journey.
Well, I think we've given our listener a lot to think about today.
Yeah.
We've gone from R curious to R enthused.
That's right.
In the span of this deep dive.
Hopefully.
And I hope that same spark of excitement has ignited for you listening.
If this conversation has sparked even a little bit of curiosity about R, I encourage you to take that next step.
Yeah.
Download it. Explore some tutorials.
Right.
And see what happens.
Oh, well,
you might be surprised by what you discover.
Before we wrap up, I want to give another shout out to Stephen Andrew Culpepper.
Yes.
And Herman Aginnis.
Aginnis.
For their insightful article.
Absolutely.
It was the catalyst for this entire conversation.
It was.
And I think it's a must-read for anyone interested in exploring the world of R.
We'll be sure to include a link to the article in the show notes.
And with that, we've reached the end of our deep dive into the world of R. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling energized and inspired.
Yeah, me too. It's like we've unlocked a secret door to this whole new realm of data analysis.
And who knows what amazing things you might find on the other side.
That's the beauty of exploration. You never know what you'll discover until you dive in. So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with data.
Until next time, happy analyzing.